Chargers defensive coordinator Jesse Minter. I'm going to tell you why I'm excited about that personally, but I want to know what you think about it. I want you to put down below in the comments, if you're part of the hashtag replay gang on this one, what you think about the prospect of Jesse Minter being the next Ravens head coach. Do you like it, love it, hate it, and why? This and so much more on this episode of Quiet Storm Sports. Be sure to like the video. Yes, yes, yes. What is going on, Rain Gang family? We are back for yet another episode of Quiet Storm Sports. Again, I am your host, Sutton Def, here on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Just want to give everybody a reminder, please leave a thumbs up on this video. It helps us out a ton here at PRP, helps us bring you much better content throughout the off season because the algorithms help us out. It helps us reach new heights and new communities, right? And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build a family here. You know, the Rain Gang is a big, happy family. And speaking of the Rain Gang, while we're in some housekeeping things, right? We're actually going to be doing a lot more for our members here coming up soon. So here's the thing. Number one, today's show is a call-in episode. You can only call in, though, if you are a member. There are instructions in the description on how to do that. If you want to, you can go ahead and do that. But number two, and the biggest thing, and you guys already see it, it's in the chat. There's a poll in the chat right now. And it says we're doing a jersey giveaway for our members here at PRP, right? And that is going to be our first one, and I believe about a year, maybe a year and some change. So I put a poll up there because it was about time. It was about time. We're going to be giving away a jersey. We're going to be announcing the winner Super Bowl weekend. So, just in a couple of weeks. But in order to qualify for it, you do have to be a member of the Rain Gang. So if you're already a member of the Rain Gang, and right now, last time I checked, we have about 23 members of the Rain Gang as it stands right now. Uh-oh. Did I freeze? I don't know. Are we good? I think most of you guys voted Lamar, honestly. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. I'm not sure. I think my camera went out. But hopefully you guys can still hear me. Hopefully it pops back on here in a second. But anyways, guys, like I said before, only members will be able to participate in this giveaway. So if you do want to be part of it and you do want a chance to win this jersey, go ahead and sign up. I froze. Oh dang! Can you guys hear me though? Let me see. If I froze, that's no good. 1 second. All right, back in 30. All right, all right. Hopefully we're back now. We should be back. Everything should be a-okay. Let me know if you guys can see me, if you guys can hear me. We are back. Sorry about that. A little bit of technical difficulty. You guys know how it goes sometimes. You guys know how it goes sometimes. But is what it is. Is what it is. I think we're back now. I think we're back. But yeah, like I said, guys, we're doing a jersey giveaway here. You have the choice to pick between Lamar Jackson. You have the choice to pick between Zay Flowers, as you guys know. You guys know how I feel about Zay, but a Zay jersey would be nice. You have the choice to pick between Derrick Henry and then also Kyle Hamilton. Now, I mean, me personally, I don't know about y'all, but Kyle Hamilton probably sounds like the best pick to me, for me, for me. However, you can pick what you want. As long as you are a member, you will qualify. We only have 22 members right now. We appreciate all of our members, of course, but that's a pretty high chance. If you're already part of our membership and it stays the way it is, you have a pretty high chance at getting that jersey. So now that the housekeeping things are over, right? Let's get into what we came here to talk about. 70 people watching live. Shout out to you guys. Be sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new. Earlier today, I was scrolling on the old Twitter sphere and I saw rumblings and rumblings and rumblings of, oh, Jesse Minter, next Ravens head coach. It's already, you know, it's going to happen, is basically what I was seeing. And I know the reason why that happened is because Jesse Minter visited the castle today in Owings Mills, Maryland, and he had a full day interview, which he did end up leaving Baltimore, as it is currently almost 9 o'clock. He did end up leaving Baltimore without the job, which may give some people some skepticism on whether or not it's actually going to happen. However, Imagine Bull with the super chat donation. However, like I said, I think this is the guy that they want. This is the guy that they want. Thank you so much, Majin Bull, making it rain here on Quiet Storm Sports. Majin Bull says, motherfuckers just justifying this buddy BS by saying, look at Mike McDonald as if Minter isn't a different person. You're right about that, Majin Bull. You're right about that. I have personally gotten away from, I've distanced myself from the narrative of, because Mike McDonald is so good, that's why we want Jesse Minter. Now, it's still in the back of my head, like the potential, right? Just the potential of him as his own individual person, Jesse Minter. I do think that he can be a fabulous head coach. But I'm trying to not be lazy, right? I'm doing my due diligence on Jesse Minter, and I'm going to deliver you some reasons in this episode of the show why I think Jesse Minter would be the perfect fit, bro. He'd be the perfect fit. He may not be the most how do you say, you know, shocking. Like it's not going to give you the most shock value. Alex said on the other episode of the show a couple of days ago, he said, it's the safe pick. But safe doesn't always have to mean bad. It doesn't always have to be a negative thing, right? That's what I think. Another super chat donation. This one's also coming in from Majin Bull, it looks like. Majin Bull making it rain early here on Quiet Storm Sports. Majin Bull says, as I commented the other day, this is Minter and Mac. Make good spin is childish logic, unserious organization, shaking my head. And again, man, I'm agreeing with you here. I think it is a lazier take to say that, okay, because Mike McDonald is having all the success in Seattle, the same thing is guaranteed for Jesse Minter. It's not. I get it. It's not. And that's why I personally had to do my deep dive research on him. So here's the thing, guys. Let me set the scene for you. Today, again, like I said, there were rumblings and trading markets coming out with odds for the next Baltimore Ravens head coach. And however you want to, take those trading markets, you can take them with a grain of salt if you want to. I know it's in the thumbnail of this video. Kalshi, which is one of them, had Jesse Minter peaking at a 97% chance to be the next Baltimore Ravens head coach. Now, let me preface everything else we're going to talk about in this video with this. Here's the thing. Jesse Minter has history with the Baltimore Ravens, right? He's already familiar. He coached here from 2017 to 2020. So that box is checked. You get a familiar friend. And as much as us in the Ravens fan base despise that, as much as us in the Ravens fan base really want us to fully hit the reset button and go, okay, we're done with Harbaugh. We're done with his entire tree. All of that. I've been on record myself saying we want the stench completely out of here. But if I could, just humor me really quick, Majin Bull. I would argue that, we could have said the same about Mike McDonald. It just it's a possibility. It could happen. Jesse Minter could come in and he could be that boy. And again, I'm going to break it down and why I think that the Ravens really love him. Again, number one reason, he's familiar. He's a familiar face. Number two reason, he's a defensive minded head coach. Ravens are known for defense. Steve Bisciotti wants to get back to the Ravens way, which is defense. So again, guys, we're going to get into all of that. Appreciate your super chat donation again, Majin Bull, making it rain here on Quiet Storm Sports. Let me see. We got some members in the chat. I see my members in the chat. Herb, what's going on, Herb? Asmodeus, aka Asmodeus. So make sure you're on your best behavior. Chris M in the house. What's going on, Chris M? Another member in the chat. We got the birthday boy in the chat, King Blaze. King Blaze, we celebrated earlier this morning for King Blaze on Sutton Reactions. If you haven't checked out that show, make sure you check that out as well. But King Blaze, it was his birthday today. It's his birthday today. So hopefully you had a good day, brother. And I appreciate you. I mean, on your birthday, spending time with us here on PRP, Sudden Reactions. That's love, man. That's love, man. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. Let me see. We got any more members in the chat? Dwiz is in the chat. What's going on, Dwiz? I see you in there. What's up, Dwiz? I see Void in here. Void, another one of our Rain Gang members. Tila, and the M stands for moderator as well. So make sure you're on your best behavior. Appreciate you, Tila, for coming through. And yeah, so let's keep moving here. Let's keep moving here. We got a couple of things to talk about. Let's go here. So, who have the Ravens already interviewed? Who have the Ravens scheduled interviews for? And who have the Ravens interviewed and they've already been given jobs? This is a question that I ask myself every day because we're getting new updates literally on the daily. Let's take a look here at this chart here. This was disseminated to the airwaves yesterday, I think, or actually earlier today by Jonas Schaefer. So shout out to him. And I just want to run through this list really quick of guys who have already gotten second interviews or have scheduled second interviews with the Baltimore Ravens, because I think this is very indicative, guys, of who the final candidates are. But before we do that, got to take a little break in the action. We have another super chat donation from Majin Bull. Appreciate you, Majin Bull. Says, if the Kingsbury offensive coordinator rumors are true, F my life, hashtag remedial. We're going to get into that, brother. We're going to get into that. Kingsbury has been, a name that's been brought up. We will get into that in a second. I'm going to play a clip that explains from the insider what she heard. And it's some juicy stuff. So make sure you stick around. Again, like the video, guys. Subscribe if you're new. And again, we're doing our jersey giveaway. If you want to enter into our jersey giveaway raffle, you have to join the membership here, the Rain Gang. Join our family. We'd appreciate that. Again, so let's see. Where the Ravens coaching search stands as of January 21st. That is today that I'm recording this. Guys who have either gotten a second interview, which would be in person, or have scheduled the second interview. You have Joe Brady, the Bills offensive coordinator. You have Jesse Minter, who was there today, Chargers defensive coordinator. And you have Anthony Weaver, Dolphins defensive coordinator as well, who has done his second interview. So those three names right off the bat, are guaranteed finalists for the head coaching job. Now, the other hot names on this list, and I know which ones you guys are looking at, it's going to be the Seahawks offensive coordinator, Clint Kubiak. However, we have to wait and see what happens in the NFC Championship game to determine whether or not we can speak with him. I was made aware yesterday, and I didn't know this, but I was made aware yesterday that they don't have to wait until after the Super Bowl to interview Clint Kubiak in-house. All they have to do is wait till after the NFC Championship game, and that's if they win. If they lose, then yeah, he can interview on Monday, next Monday. But if they win, well, he can still interview. He can still interview because there's a week till the Super Bowl. So either way, I think that the Ravens will probably wait it out until Monday and get Clint Kubiak in. Maybe even Tuesday if they want to get another guy in, say maybe a Chris Shula, Rams defensive coordinator. There's been a lot of talk about him. I wouldn't mind that. But the Ravens are going to do their due diligence. They're gonna do their due diligence. I don't think that we're going to see a hiring imminent in the next 24 hours. Even though today it just seemed like, okay, it's happening. I also didn't think that Harbaugh was going to get fired when he did. So it's like these things you kind of got to be prepared for. You got to kind of put the armor on early, right? And just prepare for that ESPN Adam Schefter notification to come to your phone. It could very well come tonight. That's how weird this year's coaching carousel has been. That's how weird it's been. You could I mean, the last two nights we've gotten coach hirings. Mike McDaniel last night got hired as the Chargers OC. Night before that, Robert Saleh gets hired as the Titans head coach. So this stuff is happening at all times of the day. It seems super random. So I wouldn't put it past the Ravens. Put your guard up. Put your dukes up. Protect yourself at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Mad Roster with the super chat donation. We appreciate that, brother. Says Weaver need to be off the list. Unfortunately, I agree. I just think that would be too much of a lateral move for this Ravens team. And before we dive deep into Jesse Minter and his background and things like that, really quick, just kind of going to tell you guys why I'm out on a Jesse Minter, not Jesse Minter, but Anthony Weaver with the Dolphins. And I might have said this on an episode earlier this week, but with the Dolphins, Anthony Weaver in his first year as defensive coordinator in 2024 had the Dolphins with the fourth ranked defense in the league. This year, they took a couple of steps back. The Dolphins defense finished ranked number 22 in the league. So about average is how good Anthony Weaver did, or how well Anthony Weaver did in his tenure as the Dolphins defensive coordinator. So I don't see what bringing in an average defensive coordinator in as the head coach would really do for this franchise, especially a franchise that wants to win now, and also in the meantime future-proof itself. I think that a guy like Jesse Minter does that. Anthony Weaver does not. Anthony Weaver does not provide the necessary upside that you would want, even just mentally going into a season. You wouldn't even get up for that, right? We have another super chat donation. This one's coming from Asmodeus. Appreciate you, Asmodeus, making it rain. Says, any chance we get Kubiak head coach and Flores defensive coordinator? Well, speaking of Brian Flores, the Minnesota Vikings, they have offered him a new contract, right? So if he doesn't get a head coaching position, he knows that he's got a new contract with Minnesota, and I think that's going to factor in heavily into his decision, and then also how other teams might be looking at him as well. But it is possible. It is possible. Uh, well, actually, no, I don't think it's possible anymore. With Flores getting the defensive coordinator extension offered to him by Minnesota, I don't think that he would come here in BDC. He wouldn't come to the Ravens unless it was going to be for a head coaching position at this point, I think. Kubiak head coach, though, possibility. Again, it's just, that NFC championship game, if you're a Ravens fan, you need to have your eyes glued to that television screen. Glued. And when I say glued, I mean locked in. Because basically what you're going to see is Clint Kubiak's offense versus Chris Shula's defense. Winner goes to the chip. Loser goes home. Either way, all of those coaches will be available for interview. So, you're looking at Chris Shula. You're looking at Nate Shieldhouse. They haven't really said anything on Mike LaFleur, Rams offensive coordinator. Haven't really heard any word about that. I don't think that the Ravens are showing very much interest. But in terms of Chris Shula versus Kubiak, I mean, you're talking about, I don't know, Harry Potter versus Voldemort or whatever classic rivalry, you know, battle of the beasts, whatever. Who comes out on top? That is going to be It's going to be a hell of a game. And I can't wait. I cannot wait. Listen, guys, 125 people watching live right now across all platforms that we are streaming on. Again, thank you guys so much for coming through to the Quiet Storm Sports on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. If you're not listening on YouTube, maybe consider swapping over to YouTube so you can join our live interactive chat. We would love to have you here and chop it up with you. Again, make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel as well. We are on the road to 6,000 subscribers, guys. If you guys can help us get us there, that'd be great. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. In the meantime, and I promise we're about to get into a Jesse Mentor. Who's that? Scott. Appreciate the sub. Appreciate the sub, Scott. Mad Roster with another super chat donation says, "Let's be real, Seattle definitely is the real star." Well, Seattle's defense is the real star for sure, for sure. But seeing what Clint Kubiak can do with Sam Darnold at quarterback, and maybe it's time for us to issue Sam Darnold a little bit of an apology. This is back-to-back years now on different teams where he's found himself in deep in the playoffs, right? Deep in the playoffs. So yeah, maybe it's time to start putting some respect on his name, but he's still Sam Darnold, right? He was still just seeing ghosts just a little while ago. And if he goes to the Super Bowl and plays the Patriots, he might start seeing ghosts again because that defense is real. Okay. But I do want to see what Clint Kubiak does against a Chris Shula schemed defense. That's going to be interesting, just to say the least. It's going to be very, very interesting. All right. So we got to wait and see, guys. Basically, Davis Webb, Vance Joseph, and Darren Rizzi from the Broncos. Those guys are also going to be eligible to be interviewed by this coming Monday. So maybe my guess is this: when we talk about time frame, right? When can we realistically expect the Ravens to make a move on who their next head coach is going to be? I think there's a possibility that there could be an internal thing going on with the Ravens where sometime next week, so between the conference championship weekend and the Super Bowl, so sometime next week, I believe that the Ravens will bring in maybe 2 or 3 more guys. Again, they already have 3 guys marked down for 2 interviews. I think they'll bring in maybe 2 more guys. Maybe it's a Chris Shula, Clint Kubiak, Nate Shieldhouse, I don't know, but maybe 2 more guys. And by Friday next week, I think the Ravens, if they're not already sure right now as we speak, by Friday next week, they will be 1000% sure who the next Ravens head coach is. They'll have a verbal, they'll have everything. And that's only if they'll only keep it under wraps if that coach is getting ready to coach in the Super Bowl. That's the only way that they'll keep it under wraps. If not, they'll tell us immediately. But I don't think that's going to happen. XORGNMN, appreciate the super chat donation, brother. Says, I think Ravens hoping the interviews go well versus knowing who the right guy for the job is. Hoping the interviews go well versus knowing who the right guy for the job. For sure. I mean, I really think that Jesse Minter, after seeing, I've done a lot of research on him today, preparing for this episode of the show. And after seeing just kind of like his responses to interviews, in interviews, giving his answers and then also talking to his players, like he's the guy. This guy has the cunning, the perspicacity, whatever words you want to use, whatever adjective you want to use to describe this guy, he's got it. He is sharp as a tack. Sharp as a tack. And I love him. I was on record saying that I didn't really know how I felt about him, but that was when I didn't really do my deep dive on him. I get it, guys. He's a Harbaugh disciple. I understand that. But I think this guy is just too good of an interview to pass up. I do. I'm pretty sure he smoked the interview. smoked it. I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens had already determined that they wanted to hire Jesse Minter like tonight. Maybe they're just hashing out some details. I don't know. Maybe the news breaks while we're on live. I don't know. It's possible. If it does, somebody please let me know in the chat. Mad Rasta says, with the Bills owner being a buffoon on the mic, we can chill and pick who we want. Yeah, I mean, didn't he talked out the side of his neck today, didn't he? JD, I see you in the chat. What's up, JD? Lil says, we don't know what you just said, but I'm messing with Jesse. Well, I mean, yeah. I think Jesse, like I was saying, he was smart as attack, right? He's got all of the attributes upstairs in between the ears, right? All of them. Again, I love the guy. But yeah, the Bills owner, he it called out Keon Coleman basically saying like, oh, um it wasn't our idea, saying him and the GM. I think he pinned it on Sean McDermott, I want to say something like that. Either way, it was nasty. You don't call out one of your players, by name like that. That's brutally honest, but you can't do that. You can't do that. Because how is that supposed to make Keon Coleman feel? How is he supposed to bounce back from something like that? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. Um, but thank you, Matt Roster. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Let me see here. We do have a member calling in. We got a member calling into the show here. Let's switch on over to our call in screen. We have Asmodeus. We have Asmodeus in here. Let me see if I can get Asmodeus up here. See how he's feeling about these Ravens and this head coaching carousel that we're going through right now. Let's see. Asmodeus, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yo, what's going on, brother?
What's up, something?
Nothing much, nothing much. How are you feeling about this Ravens coaching carousel? I mean, it's looking like we might be leaning Jesse Minter. How do you feel about that? Do you like it, love it, or hate it?
I like the fit for us. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think we would have already had some news on it because it's 9:14 in the evening. I think if we were to hear that Jesse Minter was gonna be the head coach, I think it would have already have happened. And I say that to say I think that we're waiting for Clint Kubiak.
Waiting for Clint. So basically, let's just say Monday, because I would assume, right? I think Kubiak is probably at really, really high on their list as well. So let's assume like maybe Monday, they interview Kubiak, right? First things first. By close of business Monday, I think we should have an idea. If not, you know, full picture. They should announce it on who the Ravens head coach is. I think it's between Jesse Minter or Kubiak. It's tough for me though, because have you really done your research on Jesse Minter? Do you know like about him a lot, Asmodeus, or no?
I know about him with what everyone else has been saying about him. So I
Yeah.
know kind of a little bit of his college background, and how I say maybe probably superficial compared with some other people who are streaming.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for me, I think that Mentor, and I'm actually gonna after we're done here, I'm gonna get into a video, right? I don't know if you guys saw that video where he was mic'd up and he was like talking to his players and stuff like that. I think you got a lot of insight and a lot of context on who this guy really is. Again, he's only 42 years old, right? I mean, that is 20 years younger than Harbaugh. He can relate to the players. I've seen him do it, right? He's a defensive guy. I think he can unlock guys like Mike Green. There's no coincidence as to why Adafe Owe ended the season with damn near 11 sacks on a short season with the Chargers. It's not a coincidence, right?
No, that's definitely not a coincidence.
Yeah.
I'm not against Mentor by it at all. I know it's a lazy narrative. I do believe that Mentor, I believe he is as sharp as a Mike McDonald. He's not the same person. You made that clear, and I 1000% agree. But I think I think he is just as sharp of a guy. I would say what would dictate, how things go, and if it were a mirror, what Mac is doing in Seattle is who Jesse Minter gets at offensive coordinator. That's a huge part of it because Mike Mack's first year, I mean, they didn't even make it to the playoffs. They were
Yeah.
close, but I don't think they made it.
Wait, say that again.
Mike Mack's first year, I don't think they made it to the playoffs.
Oh no, no, I think they did miss the playoffs. I think they narrowly missed it, but they showed promise last year, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And they were dealing with they had Geno Smith. I want to say, Geno Smith, who has pretty much completely fallen off a cliff. You saw he did nothing with the Raiders. Once Mike McDonald actually got a competent quarterback, right, and he could kind of just like say, hey, look, Clint, go focus on Darnold. I'm going to handle the defense. We're not going to be giving up over 20 points a game. I think that they've shit, man. The Seattle Seahawks in the who do they play wild card weekend? Remind me, who did they play wild card weekend?
Who,
Or
Seattle?
yeah, or they had the bye. They had the bye, right? They had the one.
No, they had to
That's right.
buy
They had the one
their
seed.
first round. Yeah,
Yeah, they had the one seed. How am I forgetting? In the divisional round, they completely stomped. They curb stomped the 49ers. What if the 49ers put up 3 points or something crazy like that?
I think it was 6.
6 points. It's like whoop de doo, right? I mean,
Yeah,
Mike McDonald, man, man, and again, I said this on Monday with Alex. I think you might have been in the chat at the time, but I said that the better that Mike McDonald does, it does make Jesse Minter look more attractive because you just don't want to miss out. I mean, and my guy Majin Bull pushed back on that earlier, saying that that's a childish narrative, and you kind of alluded to it too. But you can't really ignore the potential and the upside of a guy like that. And I've done a lot of like scouring through, Chargers Reddit and Chargers Twitter, and I'm really trying to get a feel for how Chargers fans feel about Jesse Minter. And all of them are doing the thing of like, oh, they're trying to like purposely talk down on him so nobody wants him, that sort of thing. They know that this guy is next up in this league. And you know, I wouldn't be mad if we went with Jesse Minter. I wouldn't be mad if we went with Clint Kubiak. Hell, I wouldn't be mad with a Chris Shula you know but I think that whoever we get, I think that the main focus for me, again, leadership is big, and a youthful guy, and X's and O's, that those three things right there. If you can give me those, and I think Jesse Minter, he gives you those, man, and he can unlock some of the players that we have right now.
no, I completely agree. I mean, Jesse Minter is a 1B guy for me, and that's one
Yeah.
B by like not even a millimeter. It is the thinnest of margins for me between him
Yeah.
and Clint Kubiak. I think the only reason why I'm higher on Clint Kubiak is a sentimental reason because I know a lot of people have the recency bias of what happened to Mike Mack, but I remember Gary Kubiak in 2014, the greatest offensive coordinator in the Ravens history, and then he ends up leaving after 1 year, going to the postseason, and mind you, we missed it the year prior, and the year prior to that was the Super Bowl. Um, we get into the playoffs, things look hopeful again, and then he leaves to go to Denver, wins the Super Bowl, and if I'm not mistaken, I don't think we win. I don't even think we get into the playoffs until we draft Lamar Jackson at that point, because 2015 everyone was injured. 2016 we might have made it. I don't recall. I don't think we did.
N-
2017 I know
no.
we didn't make it.
Yeah, that was when we got eliminated by the Bengals last minute. That was so painful. Right before the Lamar Jackson days. I mean, whew, those if
Like
we
at
talk
that
about that.
point, I was already done with carbs, and that has not changed in these
Oh
past 8 years.
wow. Wow. So you were done. I mean, well, that was kind of like the common theme though, because Steve Bisciotti was done with Harbs back then at the time, but Ozzie Newsome threw a Hail Mary and drafted Lamar Jackson, and then that kind of saved his job, right? But it shouldn't have taken 8 years to rip the Band-Aid off of this puppy. But isn't it crazy? Just one more thing before I let you go, Asmodeus, because I'm gonna get to some content here for Jesse Minter. But isn't it crazy that, and I tweeted this the other day, there's been such like a huge ripple effect after John Harbaugh got fired. It seems like everybody else is like, okay, we can open the floodgates now. I mean, and I know some guys got fired before John, but some of these big jobs, the Steelers, the Bills, right? Teams that didn't necessarily have to move off of their guys, but once they saw that the Ravens were doing it, everybody else followed suit. It's truly a copycat league, isn't it?
It is, however, I will say this. I mean, people have recency bias on the Bills, thinking that they're a good organization, but that's only because they had Josh Allen. I mean, they were a dumpster fire before Josh Allen. and they're kind of showing their true colors now, in my opinion, by firing the wrong guy. Every single person I've heard on Build Nation, I've subscribed to some of them on YouTube, has been saying that they fired the wrong guy. As far as the Steelers go, I genuinely believe Tomlin has been hearing so much outside noise that he's sick of it. I mean, every Pittsburgh fan I know has been saying, I do not want to make it to the playoffs just to go one and done. And
Yeah,
they
I've been
were
hearing that
dogging
too.
him for all the stuff that he did. They did not like him, and I think that's a damn shame.
Yeah, and it's very it's telling. It's telling because I've heard the same sentiment be expressed by Steelers fans as well. I mean, they had been kind of going through it just as long as we had, and I've been saying like publicly, like the Ravens and the Steelers are basically the same team. I don't think it's a coincidence at all, like at all, that these guys have both been the head coaches for respectively the Ravens and the Steelers for the past almost 20 years, and they both just happen to get fired or step down within a week of each other. That is not a coincidence. You know what I mean? And like I said again, it's a copycat league, but you know,
Yeah,
I
I
like
mean,
I yeah, go ahead.
my last point would be,
Mhm.
I understand the frustration on Tomlin, but just keep in mind, I know that they haven't won in playoff games since 2016, but their last quarterback who was competent was Ben Roethlisberger. He's
Yeah.
fucking old. Like that's the last time that's the last time they had a QB.
Yeah, and that's largely their fault. You know, I mean, you finish these seasons with barely winning records and then getting bounced out in the first round of the playoffs. Where does that get you? That gets you with an average draft pick in the first, like every year. You know, so I think that at some point after Big Ben retired and they realized, okay, we're not going to get there with these bridge quarterbacks. We're not going to get there with these quarterbacks who, we drafted in maybe a later round or something or later in the first round and let's just see if they work out. They're going to be a project. They're not that team. I mean, they need to put their money where their mouth is. Put some draft picks together, put a package together, and go get a better draft pick or a proven quarterback that has some tread on the tires still. Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he played some of his best ball against the Ravens, but down the stretch of that season, he didn't look so hot. You know what I mean? And especially not in the playoff game. So I don't know. Neither here nor there. The Steelers, they're still going to play us tough next year. I can guarantee you. They'll probably steal one off of us. We'll probably split with them. They swept us this year, but I think we'll get them back next year with at least one game. Hopefully, we'll sweep them. We got to see who the head coach is, right? But look, Asmodeus, I appreciate you for coming through, brother. I appreciate all that you do for the channel. Honestly, rocking out with me on Sudden Reactions, on Quiet Storm, me and Alex on Purple Rain podcast. It does not go unnoticed, brother. And I hope you keep coming around and rocking out with us, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, definitely, man. Thank you.
All right, man. See you later.
See ya.
All right, that was my guy Asmodeus, a member of the channel here on PRP. Shout out to him. He's always in the chat, always participating, always interacting, starting conversations. I love that, giving me suggestions, feedback. I love that. I love that. So let's get back over here to our media space. All right. All right. Here we go. So we're done with this. We're done with this. Let's get into some Jesse Minter stuff. So my big thing here with Jesse Minter, and I wrote some notes down earlier. Jesse Minter seems to be like a very big attention to detail guy. And on top of that, he seems to be a very hands-on, a very, very hands-on coach, which is something that you didn't really see with John Harbaugh. So right now, what I'm going to show you is a little clip, courtesy of the Chargers social media team. So shout out to them, of Jesse Minter mic'd up. But really quick, before I do that, we did have a gifted super chat donation from Void. Appreciate you, Void. Void is already a member. Well, not gifted super chat donation, gifted membership. I'm sorry. Void is already a member. He gifted a membership to IRMH4602. So shout out to you. You are now qualified for the jersey giveaway that we will be announcing live on Super Bowl weekend. So again, guys, if you want to join the contest, the raffle for the free jersey giveaway, all you got to do is become a member. The link to that should be right down somewhere underneath the title of the video. I don't know. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on X, come over to YouTube, join us here, subscribe to the channel, join the membership. If you want that free jersey, you also get to choose which jersey it is. All right. So let's see. Let's turn this on. Jesse Minter, everybody.
Two different ways we're going to do it. So you're either like mugged up there, and you've done that in a game before. So if I slide to you and you feel the center coming to you, you're going to pick him. Stay as skinny as you can, and then be ready to ricochet back upfield.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Like you're not gonna like, it's not gonna be as forceful, but it's gonna be like skinny, flat, flat, flat. You may be the guy to sneak through, because this center, as you do this, as you go to pick him and they slide to you, like this center is gonna be doing that.
Yeah.
You got to get skinny and use your pass rush move now.
Yes, sir.
If they slide away, and how are you going to know? Okay, maybe the back's right here. Some teams are going to cheat the back up, and you know that the back's got you now. So now I'm the center. I go away.
Yes, sir.
All right. So now it's like you're going to pick this guy, hands low, hands low. You're going to get the back's block. He's going to be coming to block you. Now
Love
it's
it.
the same concept though. You're going to pick, set it up for that guy to loop around, and then still ricochet back up the field. But it's like, you got to feel me as the center.
Yes, sir.
Skinnier, skinnier, skinnier.
Put that push on me. If I feel you on again.
By the way, my guy Leel said it, became a member as well. Shout out to you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah. If you don't, and you know the center's away, now you can be violent as hell on that hit.
So I want to watch that one more time with you guys, because he really is coaching up Derwin James here. Now, I have some takes. I have some takes on, again, why I love this potential head coaching hire. Oh, my goodness. There's so many takes, so many takes. But number one, he's teaching Derwin James here a technique very, very similar to what we see from our Ravens currently. And I'm going to get into that. So make sure you stick around, like the video, subscribe. Shout out to you guys again. But let's play this one more time. Look how he coaches up his players. Look how hands-on this man is with his players. This is something that, again, all respect to John Harbaugh, we never saw. We never saw this with Harbaugh.
Hip.
That makes sense.
Makes sense? Two different ways we're going to do it. So you're either like mugged up there, and you've done that in a game before.
Closer, yeah.
So if I slide to you and you feel the center coming to you, you're going to pick him. Stay as skinny as you can, and then be ready.
Yeah, so see, teaching him how to come off of this stunt and potentially be a rusher after the quarterback. I mean, this is stuff that, I mean, again, he's teaching Derwin James a hybrid safety, and he's coaching him up, showing him exactly. And Derwin James had himself a year this year. I'm just saying, the Ravens do have a hybrid safety. Look, I think the sky is the limit. If you bring this guy in and he is hands-on with Kyle Hamilton, let me just say it right now. If you bring this guy in and he is hands-on with Kyle Hamilton, he can unlock another level from Hamilton. And oh, by the way, I'll also say this. Jesse Minter loves to run a lot of cover 3. So do the Ravens. As a matter of fact, when they started running it more and utilizing Kyle Hamilton closer to the box, their defense completely changed. Not to mention, Jesse Minter loves to run stunts on third downs. That's another tendency of his. We're going to get to know Jesse Minter tonight. We're going to get to know Jesse Minter tonight. He loves to run stunts on third downs. I mean, if you don't believe me, go look at the numbers. Next gen stats. But let's keep watching this.
And then be ready to ricochet back upfield.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Like you're not gonna like, it's not gonna be as forceful.
Hands
It's gonna be
on.
like skinny, flat, flat, flat. You may be the guy to sneak through, because this center, as you do this, as you go to pick him and they slide to you, like this center is gonna be doing that.
Yeah.
You got to get skinny and use your pass rush move now.
Yes, sir.
If they slide away, and how are you going to know? Okay, maybe the back's right here. Some teams are going to cheat the back up, and you know that the back's got you now. So now I'm the center. I go away.
Yes, sir.
All right. So now it's like you're going to pick this guy, hands low, hands low. You're going to get the backs block. He's going to be coming to block you. Now it's the same concept, though. You're going to pick, set it up for that guy to loop around, and then still ricochet back up the field. But it's like, you got to feel me as the center. Skinny or...
Appreciate you, 86 Ghost, with the super chat donation. Hold the phones. Dropping the 2-piece in the chat says Zach Orr ran the same system. That's why we traded for Alohi Gilman. Yes. Here's the difference. Zach Orr was not able to unlock the pass rush, any sort of pass rush. Again, like I told Asmodeus, it is not a coincidence why Odafe Owe went to the Chargers and all of a sudden went nuclear. Just getting sacks, forced fumbles in playoff games is not a coincidence. And actually, this video that I'm showing you guys here is just a clip. It's just a clip of an 8-minute video. And I don't want to play the entire thing. Don't want to, you can go to the Chargers social media for that. But in that video, he teached way more techniques that I think would be conducive to better pass rushing, right? So you can run cover 3 all you want and run some of these same sort of schemes. However, if your pass rush is not getting home, it breaks down. It all breaks down. So I think that he can coach these guys. He can unlock guys potentially like a Mike Green. He can unlock guys like Tavius Robinson, right? I'm sure we'll probably end up bringing in a big ticket player. This is what EDC said. His words, not mine. Again, I could see that. Let me see. But thank you so much, 86 Goes, for your super chat donation. We have another one. This one's coming from Wandering Raven. Appreciate you, Wandering Raven, dropping the 10-piece in the chat, making it rain here on Quiet Storm Sports. Thank you so much. Says, we saw Harbaugh coaching up players one-on-one. It was just special teams players. Useless. That's my point. Never in my time watching Ravens Wired or anything like that did I see this much attention to detail being explained, right, step by step, right, from John Harbaugh. I never saw that. Most of the stuff that he was doing was more vague. If anything, I saw the coordinators coaching it up more than John Harbaugh himself. Again, he was a CEO, head coach, a culture setter. There's nothing wrong with that. But he wasn't the guy who was doing this. This guy, Jesse Minter, has a whole nother understanding, a whole different level of understanding of the defensive side of the football. So I also wrote this. More attention to detail on defense from your head coach. More attention to detail on defense from your head coach should prevent those wildfires that we see early in the seasons. The last 2 seasons. First, 6 to 8 weeks, Ravens defense bottom 3 in the league. I don't think that happens if you have a Jesse Minter at head coach. I don't think you get off to an extremely rough start on defense. No, it can't be anywhere near as bad, right? Or it can't be as bad or worse than the defense the Ravens started off with last year. That's the thing. We got to think about these things, guys. The offense, can you imagine? The offense was doing what it was doing early in this past season, but the defense just sucked. They were horrible. There was no balance there. Can you imagine if the defense actually started off competent? The Ravens might be in the playoffs right now as we speak. This is a guy who I feel like can get the Ravens there. Thank you so much for your super chat donation, Wandering Raven. Making it rain on Quiet Storm Sports. Another one coming from Majin Bull. Appreciate you, Majin Bull, dropping the 2-piece in the chat. Says they'll pick Minter because he likes their guys, a.k.a. 44. I didn't know Minter had a relationship with Marlon Humphrey. I was not privy to that. But, if so, cool. I don't know if the Ravens will keep Marlon Humphrey. Marlon Humphrey feels like there's a pretty good chance that he'll be back. I think he talked to Eric DeCosta about it. Eric DeCosta kind of assured him, not totally, but said there's a pretty good chance, I guess, that Marlo will be kept and retained. So let me see. This is a reach. Damn, Sutton, the year before they led the league in sacks. For sure. but it's still inexcusable to start off the first 8 weeks with your defense just getting torched. I mean, led the league in sacks. Cool. Awesome. Love that. Love that for us. However, again, you can't get off to bad starts like that. You just can't. And the Ravens couldn't afford it this year, especially, right? Um, Going up against the likes of the Chiefs and the Bills and the Lions, all in the front end of the season. You had to start fast. You had to start fast. But then we ended up playing catch up all season long. All right, we do have another visitor here. We have another caller. Let's switch back over before we get back into some more Jesse Minter stuff. Let me see who we got here. We got my guy Leel. My guy Leel, another member here. I don't know. I guess wait, did he drop out? I think he might have dropped out. Did we lose him? I think we lost him. He should be back. He'll be back. Hit the link again, Leel. But yeah. Majin Bull says, I'm done with the country club BS. I feel you, bro. I feel you. Let's bring Leel in here.
Hey man,
What up,
I don't
Leel?
want to take up too much of your time. What's up, son? But
Chilling,
like
man.
today, I'm just like the smoke starting to clear on like I want to say like he's gonna be our head coach, but you know anything possible. But we all know that Jesse Minter is ready to be our head coach. Let's not beat around the bush. Like he's been the odds-on favorite this whole entire time, you know. And it's like after I seen Robert Saleh, because that was my prediction. After I seen him go, and then you know, like Flores, I don't think we were like, I don't really think that's like, I never really thought that was realistic. But I mean, I just like you, like I see, I actually like came around to Jesse Minter being our head coach. I mean, I didn't know nothing about him, so I didn't want to just like talk down on his name. But I think that's the right person. I mean, like I feel like sometimes like the right choices is right in front of your face. Like you know what I'm saying? It's like it's kind of like you know that girl that you know that look really good, but you know, you got that girl that really likes you. I feel like yeah,
Yeah.
he's the right choice. But it's just like
The good girl.
yeah, yeah. So I just feel like the only question is who's gonna be our OC because I'm not really worried about
Right.
the DC. But my thing is like, would Jesse Minter be calling the defense and you know our DC just be like you know like the organizer? Like I don't like do they have um head coaches like that call the defense? Because I know obviously they got coaches that call the offense.
Yeah, I mean, there definitely are some around the league that the names don't come to my head right now, but I think that when it comes to whoever our head coach is, if it is a defensive minded head coach, then whoever the defensive coordinator is will probably be some sort of developmental coach, assistant coach who got
Yeah,
elevated from maybe DB coach or linebacker coach, who's not going to have a ton of responsibility, but they're kind of going to
right.
just be grooming him. Whereas, again, I mean, on the other side of things, if you get an offensive minded head coach, right? And David, appreciate the sub. If you get an offensive minded head coach, whoever the offensive coordinator is will probably be a developmental offensive assistant coach. But
Hmm.
I think that, I mean, like you said, Jesse Minter, he seems like the right pick. And like I was trying to make a point earlier. Let me know if you agree with this. I get what we say when it's like, okay, this is the safe pick. He is a Harbaugh disciple, even though it's a Jim Harbaugh disciple, not a John Harbaugh
Right. That's
disciple,
the
right?
whole
So
thing.
a
Yeah.
little bit of a difference there, right? Went to Michigan, won a natty there as the defensive coordinator. He's the safe pick. And I know from a fan's perspective, we're thinking like, okay, no, we want to completely wipe the slate clean. And I get that. But imagine if you were the owner of like a Fortune 500 company and you were getting ready to, transfer power of your Fortune 500 company. You're going to sell it, right? Or you're going to step down and let somebody else be the CEO or the chairman, whatever.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want like the guy who can provide a little bit of continuity? Wouldn't you want, I mean, just logically speaking, I know as fans we're
Yeah.
emotional. I'm guilty of it too.
Hmm.
Right. I said as soon as Harbaugh got fired, okay, go far out of town. We don't want none of your buddies over here. Right. Get all of them out of here. Clean house. Let's completely start over. But I'm kind of warming up to the idea, again, logically, that this might be the right fit. What say you to that?
Yeah. I agree completely. And I want to just say that, like, look, anything's a net positive from John Harbaugh. Like we can't be
Facts.
too. Anything's a net positive from John Harbaugh, and I'm gonna go as far as say anything is a net positive from Zach Orr and Tom Monken. That's just my personal opinion. I know you weren't the biggest like critic of Tom Monken, but I was
Mhm.
like I couldn't stand Tom Monken at the time. Like I really couldn't stand. Like he like we wait till basically like our back against the wall to really like to like it's just to turn up. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the offense, it didn't look like the last two games. I mean, we started off the first two games hot, first two, three fell off a cliff. Then the last two games after were, basically threatening playoff elimination. You wanna get back. So I couldn't stand Tom Monk, and he's just, hopefully he becomes the Browns head coach. I'll be happy about that. But like anything's a net positive. So I mean I'm happy. I'm hoping Jesse Minter is the head coach. I hope we get the news tomorrow so we can just go ahead and assemble our squad, like assemble our staff. And if we get Jesse Minter, we gonna get Max Crosby. We gonna make a splash.
Oh, now you talking. Now you
We gonna
talking.
make
Yeah.
a splash.
EDC
Yeah,
said that. He said he want a big ticket player, so you might be right, bro.
yeah. But that's all I really got to say. I don't want to hold too much of your time. I'm at work. Get the fuck off.
I got you. I got you, bro. I appreciate
All
you for
right,
coming
bro.
through, man. Thank you for
All
joining the
right.
membership, and I'll catch you later, man.
I have a good one.
All right, peace. All right, that was my guy King Leel. What's going on, everybody? Y'all saw that? He made some good points. He made some good points. I mean, Jesse mentioned he might be the right fit. Might be the right fit, y'all. I mean, and he said anything is a net positive from John Harbaugh, and I immediately agreed. I will say this. I mean, I can't necessarily say it's automatically because Harbaugh is a floor raiser, right? He's a floor raiser. So it is possible that, the Ravens hire a head coach and it ends up being the wrong guy and the Ravens take a step back. It's on the table, I mean, like we can't completely rule that out. But I just think, I think what he meant was in terms of where the future of this organization was going, anything would have been better than just sticking with John Harbaugh. And in that regard, I totally get it because it seemed like the juice had ran out, the message was stale, it was time. But shout out to my guy King Leel, man. Appreciate him for coming through, joining us, being our part of our membership here again. Jersey giveaway. We're going to be promoting a lot more tomorrow. By the way, tomorrow's episode of PRP, episode 372, something like that. Maybe whoever 72 is on our roster right now. I can't even remember. Is it Voorhees? I can't quite remember right now. But yeah, we're gonna have a big guest, special guest on tomorrow's show. So make sure you tune in tomorrow, Thursday evening. 180 people watching live. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. And if you want to be entered in for our jersey giveaway, become a member of the Rain Gang. Let's switch back over here. We got some more Jesse Minter to talk about.
Do it. So you're either like mugged up there, and you've done that.
Yeah, but again, guys, just a couple of more notes on Jesse Minter. Then we're going to get into the rumors today about, who the Ravens might want to bring in as offensive coordinator. But just to go through some of my notes here, and I actually probably already mentioned most of these things, but the main thing is if we get him in, and he's of course he's a defensive minded head coach, will he be able to level up the pass rush, much like he leveled up Odafe Owe once he got to LA this year? Will he be able to unlock the next level of potential from Kyle Hamilton? Because clearly this guy is an innovator. Again, clearly this guy has a ton of attention to detail. And there's pieces there that I feel like have not been utilized correctly under Zach Orr. And if we bring this guy in, I have all the faith that he will bring the Ravens defense back to prominence. I do. Okay. So like I said, let's get into now who the Ravens could potentially be bringing in as offensive coordinator. And this was a video on The Herd from Colin Cowherd, who I love a lot. I listen to his shows all the time. Doesn't always have the best takes, but he's entertaining to me. I know a lot of you guys don't like him, but he's entertaining to me. But here was an NFL insider on his show today talking about the Ravens' current head coaching search.
Well, Jesse Minter's with them right now actually. So we'll see how that pans out. I'd love to know what his plan is at OC. That's all that matters. That is all that matters in Baltimore right now. Who is going to coach Lamar Jackson? Steve Bisciotti was very transparent. They're all in, right? They're all in because they fired John Harbaugh, and they want to make this work. They want to get to the Super Bowl, and this is another organization that's looking at it as a window, right? We got to get the most out of them. So while I understand that you're bringing in the leader of men, and that's important that you have the CEO, the plan for OC has to be there, right? So Cliff Kingsbury is a name that's out there. I can tell you, I know for a fact that Lamar Jackson and those receivers would like Cliff Kingsbury to run their offense. They have shown support. They've been vocal about it. They've been part of some of these interviews too. Lamar Jackson's part of these. He's zooming in. He's in touch with the decision makers of what he likes, who he's liked.
Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? Lamar Jackson, he's been involved in some of these Ravens interviews. He's been zooming in, right? And he's been giving his input. I love that. I love that.
And so, we'll see how this shakes out. But I think Anthony Weaver's one of those, again, that I mentioned a few minutes ago, that is going to be in the running for this job. And from what I understand, Cliff Kingsbury would be his OC. Wow. And I think that would be a pretty tremendous fit when you think about what Cliff Kingsbury did with Kyler Murray. Now insert Lamar Jackson, one of the best quarterbacks.
Yeah. I mean, just crazy insight right there. By the way, we have another super chat donation from Asmodeus. Appreciate you, brother, dropping the $5 in the chat, making it rain here on Quiet Storm Sports. It says Josina Anderson has stated that the Ravens concluded the interview process is still ongoing. All signs point to Clint or someone from Denver. Is this fresh news? Must have just came out. So with that, I don't think that it necessarily means that Jesse Minter isn't the guy. I don't think it means that at all, actually. I think what this means is that the Ravens are going to, no matter what, stick to their word. Steve Bisciotti is going to stick to his word on, hey, look, 5 guys. Bring me 5 guys. Right? Don't get to guy number 3 and fall in love with him and say, hey, Steve, we want to hire this guy. Can you give us the green light? No. I want 5 guys. I think that that's just the way that they're rolling with this one. So I do think, again, by maybe sometime, we just talked about this, Asmodeus, when you were on. I'd say maybe by about like Tuesday, Wednesday, by next Friday for sure. I think we should know who the next head coach is. But by about Tuesday, Wednesday, I think we can start to really, really start to, make sure our phones are biased. Because I think that they're gonna continue to do their due diligence, get their 5 guys. Say, okay, we got Joe Brady, Anthony Weaver, Jesse Minter, probably Clint Kubiak, and whoever they like the most between Shula, Shieldhouse, Vance Joseph, Davis Webb, or Darren Rizzi. And I think some of that fat will be trimmed from those names that I just named, those last couple of names that I just named. Some of that fat will be trimmed. But I think by Wednesday, they'll have brought in their last in-person candidate. They'll have their 5. They'll know who from that 5 they want to hire. I think they already know right now, to be honest with you. And they'll go from there. But either way, fascinating stuff, man. I still have Jesse Minter as having the inside track to becoming the next Ravens head coach. Again, you get the familiarity with him being with the team already. You also get the defensive minded head coach. I mean, X's and O's guy through and through. You get a lot with him. And we're not done diving into this. Now, Josina Anderson also mentioned that Cliff Kingsbury has been talked about by Ravens players, including Lamar, that they would be excited to be coached up by Cliff Kingsbury as their OC. Now, for me, and this is just for me, I'm not speaking for anybody else, just for me. I definitely did not want him as head coach, Cliff Kingsbury. And I hesitate having him as offensive coordinator. Here's why. I feel like between his time with the Cardinals and the Commanders, I feel like defenses have kind of figured out his scheme. I feel like his scheme is nothing new or innovative. The whole air raid offense. I feel like it's one of those schemes that have kind of been figured out, and it's in the memory bank of a lot of defensive coordinators around the league. Okay, how do we beat a Cliff Kingsbury offense? You give him Lamar Jackson, he becomes more powerful. Sure. But he had Kyler Murray and he had Jaden Daniels. Had good seasons with both. But I think they hit a cap, no? I think they hit a little bit of a cap with both teams. And for that reason, I think I would probably prefer going with a guy who has maybe a little bit more untapped potential, like a little bit more upside, a guy who, if he bursts onto the scene, like, for example, like a Nate Shieldhouse. You bring in Nate Shieldhouse, pass game coordinator from the Los Angeles Rams, LA Rams. Why is that such a tongue twister when I say it fast? Los Angeles Rams? But if you bring in Nate Shieldhouse as offensive coordinator, I think that could be dangerous for the league. Dangerous for the league. But Cliff Kingsbury, I'm not. It doesn't really get me out of bed. It doesn't. Now, the fact that Lamar and friends, according to who's this, I can't remember who this reporter is here, this insider, but according to her, if Lamar and Zay Flowers and Derrick Henry, and if they're all cool with it and they like that idea, then hey, look, so be it. Guess what? If Lamar likes it, I love it. If Lamar wants Cliff Kingsbury as his offensive coordinator and Zay Flowers wants the same and all those boys, so be it. Cliff, come on. But I know one thing, head coach better be damn right. It better not be no Anthony Weaver. I mean, I'll tell you one thing. The Ravens hire Anthony Weaver as head coach, and this is what she was suggesting here. If the Ravens hire Anthony Weaver at head coach and Cliff Kingsbury at OC, hey man, look, it's gonna be more painful seasons. Hell to pay. It's gonna be hell to pay. Man. XORGNMN with another super chat donation. Appreciate you. Says, I'd rather hire an offensive-minded coach over Kingsbury at OC. Lamar probably had the best year of a quarterback in 2024 under Todd. I wouldn't trust it. Yeah, again, Kingsbury at OC is a no for me. It's a no for me. I feel like, again, the league has seen what he has to offer running an offense. And I'd rather have a guy who's more low-key and would reinvent himself and reinvent the Ravens in the process and come out with something totally new and innovative. Like, I don't want an offensive coordinator who 3 weeks into the season, me as a fan watching at home on my couch, can know what the Ravens are running, can know exactly what the Ravens are running on 3rd and 6 or 2nd and 4. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about it. No Kingsbury for me. Listen, guys, over 200 people watching live right now. Shout out to you guys. My name is Sutton Def. You are listening to Quiet Storm Sports on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. If you're listening on X, shout out to you. Make sure you give me a follow on Twitter. But maybe pop over to YouTube. And if you're listening on YouTube right now, please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below if you're part of the hashtag replay gang. Comment down below what you think about Jesse Minter as potentially being the next Ravens head coach. The odds-on favorite, the heavy odds-on favorite to be the Ravens head coach right now. What do you guys think about that? Leave it down below in the comments. I want to know. Okay. But yeah, thank you so much for your super chat donation, XOR. Thank you so much. All right, let's see what else we got here. What else did I want to show you guys? Oh yeah, we're going to go through a couple of more things too about Jesse Minter. Let me actually share my screen with you all. And we're going to go through just some things to know about Jesse. Some things to know about Jesse Minter. And I saw somebody in the chat say they're not buying it until it happens. Sure. I mean, hey, look, I'm not either, but it's my job to bring this to you guys, the latest and greatest news, even when it comes to rumors, right? Somebody said, don't address rumors. Hey, look, it's off season. We got to talk about something, guys, right? But it does seem like a lot of arrows are pointing towards Jesse Minter. I'll say that. I'll say that. It's going to be a photo finish. If they truly do want to wait it out, if we don't get news tomorrow or by the weekend, right, that Jesse Minter is hired as head coach, then I think you'll start to see kind of the odds shift, heavy in another direction. But as of right now, I don't think that they'll go with Anthony Weaver. Like I said, if Jesse Minter is the safe option, Anthony Weaver is way too safe and also dangerous at the same time. So I think Jesse Minter is like the perfect mix between taking a risk on a new guy who's not even that all that new, but he's the perfect mix between taking a risk with a new guy, taking a big enough swing, but then also making sure you have like a safety net there. Because I think he could raise the floor, kind of like hardball, and that's the benefit, but we just don't know the ceiling. I think we know the floor. Jesse Minter, head coach, probably Lamar Jackson, quarterback, probably 8 to 9 wins minimum. Right? So, already starting off where we left off from last year, but we just don't know the ceiling yet, right? I think the ceiling could be high, but it does depend on, the hires as well. Definitely depends on the hires. All right, so let's see here. Let's see. Okay. Let's take Cowherd off the screen and let's screen share. Let's learn some things. Let's learn some things about Jesse Minter. So the Ravens completed an interview with Jesse Minter for their head coaching position on the 14th of January, about a week ago. They had a Zoom interview with him. And now today they brought him in for his in-person interview. They didn't hire him on the spot. But again, like I said, still the odds-on favorite. And I think a lot of these signs are pointing towards Minter being the head coach. So let's go through this. Minter has coached in Baltimore before. Jesse Minter was on the Ravens staff from 2017 to 2020, beginning as a defensive assistant before being promoted to assistant defensive backs coach and eventually DB's coach in 2020. Okay. So again, you have that familiarity here. That level of familiarity is there between him, Eric DaCosta, maybe not so much Steve. I assume Steve is probably a little bit more hands off. I'm sure he's met with Minter before, but I think EDC more than anything. But let's keep moving. He has familiarity with the Ravens culture, and the return will be a homecoming of sorts. His experience competing in the AFC North could also work to his advantage. And that's another point that not a lot of people are talking about, right? Not a lot of people are talking about that. But he definitely has, he has experience in the AFC North, and the defense, as it says here in the next stanza. Baltimore had the NFL's number 1 defense in 2018 and a top 5 defense ranking number 4 in 2019 when Minter was on the staff. So he had his fingerprints on a top 5 defense for 2 straight years when he was with the Ravens. The Ravens are seeking a return to that level of defensive play. That is true. Scrolling down a little bit, the Chargers defense played its best down the stretch of the 2025 season. It says the Chargers defense was instrumental in helping them secure a playoff spot. They finished the season ranked number 5 overall. And Minter's unit improved as the season progressed. The Chargers held opponents to 20 points or fewer in 10 of their last 11 games, and they tied for third in interceptions with 19 picks on the season. Those are some pretty good stats. 10 of their last 11 games, they held opponents to 20 points or fewer. Insane. I can only imagine, again, what he would do with Kyle Hamilton. Again, a lot of that was Derwin James. You swap him out for Kyle Hamilton, guarantee you're going to get another level out of Hamilton. And subsequently, this defense. It says, LA held the Patriots' explosive offense to only 16 points and forced 2 turnovers in its wild card loss. That's another thing. They did lose. They did lose. Jay Jax, appreciate you becoming a member. You are now entered into the jersey giveaway raffle. We appreciate that. We appreciate that. Oh, and J-Jack's gifting 5 memberships, spreading the love. So 5 of you who were not members before are now members of the Rain Gang, and you're automatically entered to win a jersey, a free jersey. So if you haven't already voted in the poll on which jersey you want, make sure you cast your vote over there in the poll. I'm pretty sure it's going to be overwhelmingly Lamar Jackson. You guys know, I mean, it's 8, right? You have probably the most longevity out of that jersey. Well, I mean, I don't know though. I mean, you talk about, remember what we talked about yesterday, these rumors with the Raiders, the trade. Yeah, I don't know. Just joking, but let's see. Chuck's Corner, 1189. You just received a gifted membership from J Jax. King Shiesty, you just received a gifted membership from J Jax. Be More Raven 826 just received a gifted membership from J Jax. Killer Cam just received a gifted membership from J Jax. And Love West, you also just received a gifted membership from J Jax. Shout out to J Jax. Appreciate you. Big ups to you in the chat, man. Get a round of applause going. Round of applause for the gifted memberships. Big W's, big W's. Love to see that. Love to see that. All right. So, Stretch 52, what's going on, man? Another one of our members in the chat says, I like Kyle, but Derwin is better. I don't know, man. That's debatable to me. Let me see. Going down here, Los Angeles held the Patriots' explosive offense to 16 points, forced return. Yep. LA defense was fast and physical this season, led by Pro Bowl safety Derwin James and Pro Bowl outside linebacker Tuli Pelotu. The Chargers had 4 players with at least 5 sacks. Tuli Pelotu had 13.5 sacks this season. Ex-Ravens Odafe Owe has 7.5 regular season sacks. He ended up with about 10.5 after the postseason was all said and done for them. And Justin Eboigbe had 6 sacks, and Khalil Mack with 5.5 sacks. So, I mean, it looks like a guy like Jesse Minter gets the most out of his players. Zach Orr was not doing that. Point blank, period. He wasn't doing it. You know, Calvin Noy fell off a cliff this past season, and I think a lot of that has to do with age, to be honest. I don't put that solely on Zach Orr. I mean, Calvin Noy is good for like maybe 1 play a game, like 1 play per game, maybe 2 on a good day. But Mike Green, I want to see more production out of him. I get he was a rookie, has 17.5 sacks his senior season in college or his last season in college to only 3.5 this year in his first season with the Ravens or somewhere around there. I want to see upwards of maybe 8 to 10 sacks next season for Mike Green for what should have been a first round pick. I want to see him unlock some of these guys on our defense. I want to see him unlock a Trenton Simpson, Tavius Robinson, a lot of these guys. So I think what you saw him do in LA in terms of unlocking some of his players and getting them to perform their best is what we want to see in Baltimore. And I think is what you would see in Baltimore. Let's move along here. Minter has experience maximizing a versatile safety. And this is what I was talking about earlier. This is exactly what I was talking about earlier. Let me see. Minter took advantage of Derwin James' versatile skill set as a safety who can impact the game by lining up in the front 7 or in the secondary. After a blowout 35-6 loss to Jacksonville in Week 11, Minter and the Chargers coaching staff adjusted and found a rhythm. James' presence was a big part of the equation as the Chargers used him as a multi-purpose weapon. The Ravens utilized first-team All-Pro Kyle Hamilton the same way as one of their defensive cornerstones. A Minter-Hamilton pairing could help Baltimore's defense get back to where it wants to be. I totally agree. Couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. You see, remember I said earlier, Jesse Minter loves to run a lot of cover 3. I know the Ravens did as well. And Kyle Hamilton thrived in that package. Also, what did I say? Oh, yeah. Also, Jesse Minter loves to run a lot of stunts on third downs. Let's take a look at something really quick. Really quick, guys. I won't hold you guys long on this one. I know we're already, an hour and a half almost in. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the content. If you are, please leave a like, subscribe as well. Maybe consider joining our membership if you want the free jersey. But let's take this off the screen really quick. I want to just go back to something that we looked at here. Yeah. And this again, this is Jesse Minter coaching up Derwin James.
Center coming to you, you're going to pick him. Stay as skinny as you can. and then be ready to ricochet.
Coaching him up on how he wants him to execute the stunt here.
You're not gonna like.
And when I was watching this, I got to thinking, right, guys? And I was thinking to myself, like, what does this technique sort of remind me of?
As you do this.
What does this technique that he's teaching sort of remind me of? It was very kind of reminiscent of things that we saw this year. Because basically what he's teaching him to do is come off of this pick, right? And get into the backfield after the quarterback. And who have we seen do that so much on defense for the Ravens? Well, it's Kyle Hamilton. He does it right here, right? This was against the Bears in week whatever, same thing. Perfectly executes the stunt. And you can see Roquan Smith is the guy who's supposed to be getting after the quarterback there. But Kyle Hamilton gets skinny, he slips through, and he's the one who ends up getting the pressure. Right? And I just think that with Hamilton already being as smart of a player that he is, you pair him up with a Jesse Minter. I mean, hell, you're damn near gonna have a coach on the field. And Kyle Hamilton is already that. He's a great communicator. I'm just saying, you're going to have masterminds on defense. The Ravens defense will be back officially if the Ravens if they decided to hire Jesse Minter. I'm convinced. I'm convinced, guys. I am. Let's keep rolling, though. Minter comes from a coaching family. Minter's father, Rick, is a senior defensive analyst with the Chargers and was a longtime college coach, including 10 years as head coach at the University of Cincinnati. Growing up as a coach's son gave the 42-year-old Minter an early inside look at the job and what it takes to succeed. Coaching's in his blood, and he began his career immediately out of college as a defensive intern at Notre Dame in 2006. Minter left the Ravens to become defensive coordinator at Vanderbilt in 2021, before Jim Harbaugh hired him as Michigan's defensive coordinator from 22 to 23 to help the Wolverines win a national championship. So that's another thing, guys. This guy has coached at the highest level in college, right? To win the Natty as the defensive coordinator. He's been in big moments. Obviously not as head coach yet, and we'll have to see how he responds to kind of like how he does when the bullets start flying. Because as a head coach, when the bullets are flying, everybody's looking at you, right? We look at the coordinators maybe after the game, and during the week, we kind of dissect. Okay, well, what was really going on here with this coordinator? What were they calling? What was going on? In game, when the bullets are flying, it's all on you. So we'll see how he responds to that again if the Ravens were to hire him. But coming from a coaching family, of course, you love that. Another reason why people love Clint Kubiak as well. But this part I really loved. Minter describes himself as driven without a huge ego. Minter told The Athletic he still has the 98 rejection letters that he received when he was looking to begin his coaching career. That tells you what type of person he is. Right there. I think at least. It tells you he's the type of guy who's got a chip on his shoulder and he's coming for blood. That's what I think. Some of you guys are telling me to stop it, Louisville Cardinals Ravens says you are explaining what Mike McDonald did at Baltimore and Minter is his clone. Well, if Minter is Mike McDonald's clone, which he's not because he's his own individual person, but if that's your thought process, then I think we got the right guy. I think he's the right guy, because I don't know about you, but I would love for the head coach of this team to be Mike McDonald right now. I would love for that. Monty, what's going on? Says, I don't know if he's a good fit. Hey, if you just got in here, maybe rewind a little bit. We talked about it a lot on why he might be the best fit. Tanja Bowman says, again, another one of our members in the chat. What's going on, Ms. Bowman? Appreciate you for coming through. Says, I don't know if it was our defensive line, but teams started blocking Kyle's stunts when he tried to rush through. Yeah, and it was our defensive line. Nobody else could get home. Nobody else could get pressure. But this, again, is where I'm looking for him to unlock the guys on the outside, like a Tavius Robinson, like a Mike Green, you know what I mean? Like a Travis Jones even more. And we're probably going to have to either address edge rusher with a big splash move or interior D-line with a high draft pick or, again, another big splash move because I don't think Matabike is coming back. But once we shore up the trenches a little bit more, it'll free up Kyle Hamilton. You'll see him a lot more on some of those stunts. They won't be able to pick it up as easily, when there's other guys to double team. So let me see. Flagship Fantasy in the chat says Lamar has endorsed Clint Kubiak on the pod. That's according to a MSN article. Interesting. I hadn't seen that. Okay, I'm back in the chat. Had to do some research. Sutton found an article that apparently LJ went on I Am Athlete this month. The interview is not out yet, but it was leaked by the pod's producers. Ooh, that's juicy. That's juicy. If that's true, then hey, I mean, I don't really see why he would talk about it. Would seem like it would be a conflict of interest for him to go on a podcast, especially a podcast that big. It's a huge platform, I Am Athlete. And talk about his next head coach and who he's endorsing for that. I mean, that wouldn't really be smart. I don't think the Ravens would be too happy about that. But we'll see. We'll see. DJ Baby Dinosaur says, is Minter an underwhelming hire because he's a defensive-minded coach or because he's from the Harbaugh tree? I think it's only because he's from the Harbaugh tree. Because me and a lot of others were campaigning for guys like Robert Saleh, guys like Brian Flores, other defensive-minded head coaches. But, the thing that turns a lot of Ravens fans off is the fact that, we just got John Harbaugh out of here. You want to get the full stench out of the room of Harbaugh. No disciples, no cousins, brothers, uncles, none of that. Get them all out of here. Let's start completely fresh. That's the sentiment of a lot of Ravens fans. It was me a couple of weeks ago now when I first found out John Harbaugh got fired, because it was just an emotional reaction. It's like, okay, Harbaugh's gone. Okay, we want nothing to do with Harbaugh, nothing to do with anybody who has anything to do with him. Let's completely move on. But now that I've had time to think about it, I've had time to do the research on some of these coaches. It's not just about what satisfies us right now, guys. We're looking at potentially someone who could be the next head coach for the next 10 to 15, maybe hell, 20 years. I think it's important to get a guy that you can grow with, to get a guy who can come in. It can be like a seamless transition, which is something that he values. Jesse Minter has said that in an interview. It's important to get a guy like that. And there's such thing as the safe pick, and then there's such thing as a too safe pick and too familiar. And to me, that would be Anthony Weaver. But Jesse Minter is the perfect balance of taking a risk and going with something familiar. He's the perfect balance, again, of taking a risk and going with something familiar. That's my take on it. We had a new sub. Thank you, Willie, for subbing. Another super chat donation. This one's coming from Void, one of our members in the chat. I appreciate you, Void, dropping the 10 spot in the chat, making it rain here on Quiet Storm Sports. Says the thing about looking at coaches is that despite past success and methods, only time will tell if any candidate is/was a good move. The unknown is the best and worst part. Yeah, I totally agree. Only time will tell. I mean, you just never know. All of it's a coin flip. All of it's a gamble at the end of the day. But that's why we cling to, as fans, every little bit and piece of information, and we do our research on these guys, and we look at their history, and I'm going through fun facts about them right now, and we're sharing this together, because all we can do is speculate, brother. There's no Ravens football until September. It's January, so we've got a long road. You got to sit back, kick back, get your favorite drink, snack, or vice, because it's going to be a long ride. It's going to be a long ride till we see some Ravens football again. And for that reason, man, we kind of have all the time in the world to do our deep dives on these guys. And, we're even still, it's still going to be a crapshoot. Whoever we get, it's going to be a gamble. But I appreciate your super chat donation, Void, always coming through, always rocking out with us here on PRP. By the way, guys, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel as well, and consider joining the Rain Gang membership. We got a couple gifted memberships tonight. That was really cool by Jay Jax. Shout out to him. But if you join our membership, you automatically get entered into our raffle for the free jersey giveaway that is on the poll, on the chat, in the screen. I mentioned it multiple times this episode. So let's move on here. Mentor describes himself as driven without a huge ego. And remember, I said the 98 rejection letters. He still has all of them. What did they say? What was the thing about who was it? Geno Smith last year? They tried to write me off, but I didn't write back. Jesse Minter is on that same energy, that same type of time. And I love that. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He wants to kick some ass. Those letters still fuel Minter and keep him grounded. He grew up wanting to be a coach and loves doing it, but he also wants everyone around him to feel valued. A lot of coaches have crazy egos, and I think there's a difference in being confident in yourself and sure of yourself and then having an ego, Minter said. I've always tried really, really hard to not have an ego, to really try to build a situation where everybody feels like they have value, where everybody feels like they're a part of the success. And, if we go back to that video I was showing you guys earlier of Jesse Minter coaching up Derwin James, did you notice how bought in Derwin James was to Jesse Minter? I mean, Jesse Minter was honestly right there, just coaching him up. He wasn't even really coaching him hard, but it was almost like a friend teaching a friend on how to do something, right? But Derwin James was like, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. You know what I mean? Very, very, you can tell they bought into that guy's message. And I know he will be missed in that locker room if he doesn't end up staying with the Chargers. Uh again, man, I mean, I love it. Somebody who's self-aware, somebody who has that level of self-awareness is what you want. And you want to foster an environment where everybody feels like they're contributing to the team's success, the one common goal, right? He can use the whole play like a Raven phrase and spin that into exactly what he needs to get these guys ready to run through a wall on Sundays. I truly believe that. You might not. I know some of you in the chat don't, and that's okay. And that's okay. But Sutton here at the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel is officially endorsing Jesse Minter as the next Baltimore Ravens head coach. I am. I'm convinced. I am. Flock Rundown, my guy Ryan in the house. What's going on, Ryan? Appreciate you for coming through. Make sure y'all go subscribe to the Flock Rundown. My guy Ryan over there does a great job, man. Of course, posting daily Ravens content. Daily Ravens content, man. He's always pumping out a video and high quality, high production quality as well. High production value over there at Flock Rundown. So make sure you go check out his videos as well. They do live streams too over there. And looks like Flock Rundown just gifted a membership in the chat. Appreciate that, Ryan. Appreciate that, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's see. Purple City 410 was the recipient of that membership from the Flock Rundown. So shout out to you, Ryan, and shout out to you, Purple City 410. You are now entered into our jersey giveaway raffle officially. All you have to do is become a member, guys. That's it. But much love to you. Much love. But yeah, JD says we still talking about him. Hey, man, that's the theme of tonight's episode, man. I'm sorry. It is. I mean, it's been the talk of the town all day. I had to spend a whole episode on it, but I promise you, we're going to be wrapping up here in a minute. Mad Rasta says they need new slogans. That's fair. Oh, man. All right. Let's pop over here. What do we have? Okay, Mentor describes. Yeah, guys. So I think that was about all that I had for you on this episode of the show. Truthfully, right? We're about an hour and a half in. We talked at length about Mentor. If you're just getting in here, please rewind. If you're part of the hashtag replay gang and you made it this far, shout out to you. Big ups. If you're part of the hashtag, not hashtag, but the Apple Podcast and the Spotify family, shout out to you as well, to all of our listeners. But we have the visual stuff on here as well. It's not just an audio show, so maybe come over to YouTube sometimes. I know it's not always feasible to do so, but when you get a chance, come over to YouTube and check us out. Before I get out of here, guys, please remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel as well. I'd appreciate that. Again, my name is Sutton Def. This is the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. We will be live tomorrow with a special guest on the show. Will not say who it is just yet, but we will be live tomorrow with a special guest breaking down again all of these Ravens rumors surrounding the coaching search. Who's going to be the OC? Like we just heard, Lamar Jackson likes Cliff Kingsbury. Is it going to be Minter? Are they going to wait for Kubiak? We're going to talk about all of that tomorrow. Again, me, Alex, and our special guest on episode 372 of PRP. Before we get out of here, more housekeeping things. Again, if you want to join our jersey raffle, please be sure to join the Rain Gang membership, and that will automatically enter you in for the raffle. It looks like Lamar Jackson won the poll. I'll have to check it after the stream here, but last time I checked it, it was a landslide for number 8. So it's looking like it's going to be a Lamar Jackson jersey that we're going to be giving away here on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. And again, if you want to have a chance to get that, make sure you go ahead, subscribe to the channel, and also join our Rain Gang membership. Again, love you guys. Appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. My name is Sutton Def. I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace. Stay positive, test negative. Never, ever, ever forget to call God. Love you guys. Later.